I think we're celebrating a milestone in the study of Kuntras Umayyan. I said in the beginning of the evening that I want to make Kuntras Umayyan great again. Why? Because it's underrated, Kuntras Umayyan. First of all, it's probably the only Chabad book that addresses our vulnerabilities and challenges and the threat of the Yetzer Hara in a very Musar way, not in Chabad, like straightforward, like telling you this is right, this is wrong. Usually we don't go too much into in that vulnerable and negative aspect of our life. We focus on the positive and we emphasize the positive, and we not that we ignore the negative. The negative is not, we're above it. But here, Rebbe Rashab is like showing it to us very, very clearly. That's number one aspect about Kuntras Umayyan. The other part, as I explained many times before, is that it's made very accessible. It's not like learning a mimer. You learn a mimer has a pasuk dibra maschil. This question goes into spheres and then it comes back, and here it's very abstract. Here's very practical. We have a topic. We're dealing with something, and we're elaborate and we're addressing more and more of that topic. Every chapter, every segment. So that's a big deal. The main two subjects that are addressed here are our daily challenges that stem and come from our Yetzer Hara that occupies the main space of our body and our life. Why do I say that? We learned in today's Tanya and yesterday's Tanya that we say Neshama shenasata bi, Neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. The neshama that you put inside of me is pure. What does that mean? I am not pure. The neshama is pure. That's by the Benoni, because by the tzaddik, we learned today in Tanya that Hillel, when he went to feed his body, he said, I'm going to do a favor to the poor. The body, he doesn't look at the body the way we look at the body. We're the opposite. We see the body as the essential. And when we manage to overcome and go over the natural, the gravity that we have towards the needs of our body, we think of the spiritual. By tzaddik is the opposite. Tzaddik is even his life, like the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya Yeres HaKodesh Chav Zayin, when he talks about the death, the passing of a tzaddik, he says that even b'chayus al-madain, when he's alive in this world, even when he's alive physically, the tzaddik, his life is not physical. So he's saying over there, why would you think that when a tzaddik passes away, he's no longer around? What do you mean? Even when he was here, it was not about his body. It was about his spirit. So, of course, he passes away. He's even more present because he doesn't have anymore. He no longer has the boundaries of the body. Which is a very interesting twist, because you could think the tzaddik left and, I light a candle, I say a bracha. No! Is yatir mi b'chayui, more than when he was alive. Obviously. There's an interesting saying about the Alter Rebbe brings it in Likutei Torah, I think in Parshas Tzav, which we're going to learn soon. He says that, in a way, the fact that we don't have Beit HaMikdash today has a great benefit to us. Why? When it wasn't Beit HaMikdash, we were able to bring korbanot. ומפני חטאינו, גלינו מארצנו, ונדרחקנו מעל אדמתנו. We were exiled from our land, we're distanced from our from the holy land. We can't do the mitzvahs the way Hashem, we cannot do the mitzvahs the way Hashem wants. It's a problem. Says the Alter Rebbe, guess what? It says, Kol ha'osek betorat ola, keilu ikriv ola. If you study the laws of korbanot, it's as if you're bringing a korban. That's the power of studying about something. Says the Rebbe, hold on. If you want to go to the Beit HaMikdash and bring a korban, how many requirements and restrictions How many requirements and restrictions are there? If you're a tamei, if you're this, if you're distant, if the animal has a mum, the timing, when, the kohen, the shchita, the hazaya. We're learning in the Chumash today about how to sprinkle the blood, the mizbeach, what to do. So many restrictions. When you're studying about it, the Torah says it's as if you're bringing a korban. Guess what? The Rebbe says you can be thousands of miles. The Alter Rebbe says in the Maimah, in the Likutei Torah, you can be thousands of miles away from the Beit Hamikdash. Beit Hamikdash is destroyed. You're tamei. You don't have an animal. There's no kohen to do the shechita. You're studying the laws of korbanot. You are bringing keilu hikrim oila. You're bringing a korbanot. So technically, by not having the physical Beit Hamikdash, gives us a bigger opportunity to bring korbanos from anywhere, anytime. Once you remove the physical restrictions, you have much bigger access to the essence. So the life of a tzaddik is a spiritual life. There is a body, there is no body. Doesn't make a difference to him. For us, we're affected because we're very physical. Same thing with this major famous story with the Rebbe Rayatz when he was imprisoned, and they threatened him. They wanted to force him to sign documents to admit. They wanted him to admit about certain crimes that he had never committed. And with torture, they would make him accept and admit that, that's why we incarcerated you, and that's why we have arrested you, and and you admitted your crime. So one time they put not a corkscrew, a gun, on a pistol on his how do you call the tampon? They said, listen, if you don't want to, he said this little toy made people more stubborn than you speak and say what we want them to say. So it's up to you. So he responded with a laughter. He said, which is incredible for itself. It's like this toy only scares someone who has many gods and one world. Chazak Kuti. But when you have one God and two worlds, you depart from one, you go into the other. What is there to be afraid of? So think about it. Your true existence never ceased to be, never stopped. Whether it's here or there. But that's by a tzaddik. A tzaddik, his life, even the physical world, is not physical. However, by us, it's the opposite. When we have a chance, we remember about the spiritual. Telling you honestly, today I was putting on my talit and tefillin, and I was thinking to myself, I was convincing myself that I'm excited to do it. And I was thinking, why am I not excited? And I said, because I'm not. It's not exciting. A good glass of wine, a good piece of is exciting. But you know what? There must be something real about it. I just like I'm doing a mitzvah and simcha shamim. Like I'm being and I'm like, maybe I need to remember that there's something good about God, and what's good about it is the source of life. Is the source of life. Is if I enjoy life, so I can enjoy the source of life even more. Like I had to remind myself. Then I put on the talis and I tried to say the bracha with a little more excitement, and then I said the words, and I realized, you know what? Maybe it's actually good. Ma yaka chasdecha Elokim.
How precious is your kindness?
Like, guys, and I was so, is it cynical? Is it like, I was so like, about, like, I'm like, is it really precious? Every word I said, I was thinking like, really? Ma yaka chasdecha Elokim. How precious you can. Ubnei Adam b'tzal knafecha yechsayun. Go ahead. And mankind and human beings, b'tzel knafecha, in the shadow of your wings, yechsayun, they're going to shelter. Like if you look, what am I looking as a human being? I want to be sheltered. I want to be protected. Look, I want someone to put their hands on my shoulder and feel protected. Look at this. Like this is what I want to feel good. This is what Hashem, this is the talis. The talis is the wings from Hashem. Hashem is like giving me a hug. Yirvu yun b'deshen beisecha v'nachal adanechal sashkem ki imcha mekoi chaim, you're the source of life. B'eichal niri oyer b'shecha. I was like, you know what? Whoa. Maybe there's something there to appreciate. But naturally, I'm not attracted by it. Naturally, it requires effort to go there. So there's two main distractions in our lives. Distractions, we said this is the new name for Yetzer Hara. Distraction number one is, we said last few weeks, attraction, temptation. Right? The other type of distraction that the Yetzer Hara brings to us is anxiety, worries, or fear. Same thing. Till now, in Kuntras Umayan, we addressed the Ruach Shtus, the folly, the distraction of attraction, temptation, triggers, stuff like that, stuff that like a trigger, or even addiction, and we demonstrated how ridiculous it is for someone of a certain stature, a human being who has a brain, to fall for this so low and irrelevant, call it substance or attractions. Now we're moving to the next level. Guess what? You're a very dedicated person, you're trying your best, you need to pay your bills, you need to feed your household, and you're anxious. And when I say you, I mean you. Like talking to myself. And you're nervous. And guess what? When you don't have it, you're nervous. When you have it, you get very excited. When you make a big success, you can get very, and confident, and become very confident about yourself. Or satisfied. So all of we call this in Chassidus, da'agot ha'parnasa, tirdot ha'parnasa, the preoccupation. Even if you're not worried, you're tarud. Tarud, you're preoccupied. Preoccupied means your main thoughts are about when is the next opportunity? I was sitting with some people yesterday, and we were talking about different things. Like, Reb Levi, where are the opportunities? Like, which, again, chas v'shalom, I'm not saying we should. Where's the next opportunity? That's what excites me. And chas v'shalom, if I can't pay the bills and there's no money, I get nervous. Now, in the second part of Kuntras Umayan, this is what we're going to address. Now, guess what? He's taking a route, the Rebbe Rashab here, which is very, very abstract. In order to explain how sustenance, parnasa, mezoinos, you want to call it, mezonot, sustenance, comes from Hashem. In order to demonstrate that, it's pretty tough because, guess what? Again, just like it's not natural for me to feel that a talis is exciting, but if you show me a good piece of cake or something, you don't need to convince me too much. When I look at work, I see that if I put in the work and effort, I'll get the results. And if I don't, I won't get the results. And the successful guy has the formula, and he's doing it better than me. That's why he's making it there. He's smarter, sharper, faster, better, more luck, more opportunities, whatever it is. I don't see that it's coming from Hashem. So it's easy to say, shkacha pratis, gamzu l'teiva, it's all from Hashem. If you don't show up, if you don't go claim it, so how do you? It's very hard. Right now, this is what the Rebbe is going to address. And to begin, we introduced last week, and we're going to go back to this this week. There's a bunch of quotes. There's a bunch of segments in the Torah that seem to be contradicting. So before to even explain practically how does it apply to me to have full emunah that everything comes from Hashem, hold on one second. On one hand, it says that you have to work. Uberachecha Hashem Elokecha, Hashem will bless you. But it says, Bechol asher ta'aseh, in everything you'll do, which implies that you need to do something. On the other hand, it says, Birkat Hashem ita'ashir. It's not you that makes the success, it's the bracha of Hashem. Okay, but if you don't have a business, if you don't have something, a vehicle, you're not making anything. I like to say that little people say, oh, if you're going to close your shop on Shabbos, you're going to have a better parnasa. Guess what? Not all the people who keep Shabbos are very wealthy, and not all the people who work on Shabbos are very poor. You know, if it was that obvious, people say, the wife puts on a sheitel, so the Rebbe says it's a tzin ala parnasa. Not all women who have a sheitel, their husband's like my wife has 3 sheitels. 3 sheitels. And I think, I'm doing good, but I can do better, right? And I see people who don't have the sheitel and they're making much more, like right? It's like the beard. You know, the beard is a tzina la parnasa. Tell me about it. Look at this. Look at this. So obviously, it's not that obvious. So the Rebbe Rashab is addressing this. And as I said last week, this was addressed during the time after post-World War I, where there was a terrible, terrible economical situation where whether it was in Eastern Europe or even in America, or the whole world was going through a terrible...
The Great Depression.
The Great Depression. And Jews were also going through persecution. So the persecution and the depression and everything, that's what... So the main question remains, and that's what we're going to do today, and then for the coming weeks we'll see how much of it we're going to actually go inside, unless you're interested in going into a very abstract and Kabbalistic Sephiros journey. It's going to explain basically everything comes from Hashem. But if Hashem is up there, how does He get it delivered to me? That's the question. It's very tzimtzum to say tzimtzum. No, just kidding. No.
The cop-out.
No. But what does the tzimtzum do? What's going on? That's really the question. And how did we phrase that question? Last week we learned. It says, the sustenance, the food that a person needs for the entire year is all allocated and decided in the beginning of the year. Then we say that in Yom Kippur, it's decided. Then we say Shana Rabbah, then we say Sukkot, then we say on Shabbat B'chag Nidonim Alamayim. There's all kinds. Then there's Adam Nidonim B'chol Yom. There's a whole machlekes, and we daven every day. And we had a question last week. If everything has been decided already by Rosh Hashanah, why do I need to pray every day? Hashem decided. It's already allocated. What's the point? So there's a bunch of contradicting, apparent contradictions about different sayings that the Torah says about the concept of sustenance and parnasa, that we need to reconcile all of that. And in order to do that, the Rebbe Rashab is going to start again, just like to explain how is it possible. You remember, what's the beginning of Kuntras Umayim? How is it possible that Hashem not only created the world, but is in control of everything in the world at every moment? How does He then allow and tolerates for opposition, klipa, to exist? It's the completely against His will, and He enables this. And we remember we had a conversation back then, that was last year, talking about human beings. Corruption exists in human beings because human beings are humans. By definition, humans mean imperfect. So any human institution isn't perfect. And we explained that corruption is part of the system. system enables corruption. Right? Corruption creates a system. And system, it's normal. But from Hashem, who's in control of everything, why would he even allow and tolerate and enable and give so much power to the side that is opposing him? Opposition, I understand. Why do you enable it? That was the which is, how does even the Yetzer Hara exist to begin with? And we explained why and how and what's the purpose, and nevertheless why it would be foolish from a human being, from a person, from a Jew who has Torah, who has a Nefesh Torikis, who has a mind, who has a brain, to give in to the Ruach Shtus. Now we're going into the same thing, same purely. Hashem provides. You need to do something. How much does he provide? How much does he expect you to do? When is it too much? I always ask people, does the Torah has a definition of how much money is too much money? Is there a certain number that after making a certain amount of money, Torah says it's too much, it's evil? That exists, by the way, in other religions. That if you have too much money, money is dirty, and yeah. So, how much money is too much money? At what point is becoming Yetzer Hara? How much money is good money? Depends the smell of it, right? So, all of these questions, like how much do I need to do? Where is my limit? What does he expect me to do right now? These questions require and demand to be addressed in depth and at the source. And that's what we're going to do for the next few, I would say next few months, because we're talking about the Spheres and the Chesed and the Gvura and the Tzimtzum and the allocation and how much your actions have influence on the affluence, how much your actions have an impact, and what you need to do, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to learn. I just want to read the Kitzur, 257, which is really the introduction to the next topic that we're going to address. Kitzur. Shtusei ba'alei ha'asakim she'einam koivim itim la'Torah. We discussed, this is all last week, by the way, and now we have beautiful recordings brought to you by Yossi Lorolian. The Shtusei ba'alei ha'asakim, we discussed that. What's the mistake of a businessman? The mistake of a businessman, just like we had the Talmid Chacham makes an excuse, like I don't need to work that hard because I'm very smart. You remember we spoke about it. The businessman's like, I can't pray that much, I can't study that much, I have to take care of my business. I have to go to a meeting. I have an appointment. I have an opportunity. All of these distract us from davening, praying, studying, giving much tzedakah, shalom bayis, and spending time with our families. Why? Because I have to go work, I have to do this and that, etc. And because of that, einam koivim itim la'Torah. Umehem, and some of them, this shows you how much it was unacceptable. Then you're not having a fixed time for learning. It's a problem, but umehem, but among them, shebilti misparelim betzibur, that did not pray with a minyan. Like it's unheard of. And mainly, what's the main factor behind this? Shoichechim, they forget. Al ha'ikar, on the main part. Here, by the way, you have a glimpse, a tip of the answer. The ikar is the bracha of Hashem. But in every aspect, there's the ikar and the tafel. Tafel is the secondary. Secondary is the part you're doing. Focus on the ikar. The tafel happens automatically. So, the birkas Hashem itasher. The bracha of Hashem brings the wealth. And then we start bringing stirat hama'amarim, the appearing contradictions in the various quotes from Torah regarding mezonot ktuvim merosh Hashanah, the fact that Hashem decides all of the sustenance for a person in the beginning of the year, versus the opposing quotes that say that Adam nidan b'chol yom, that a person is being judged every day. That's why every time you do a good deed, you might change and and grow your kelim, your bracha. Oh, someone comes for a donation. It's like, if I'm going to give him tzedakah, I'll have a bigger merit, a bigger zechut for my parnasa. Guess what? Parnasa has been already decided. Doesn't make a difference if I give or I don't give. Yet we know that it does make a difference. You know what? I'm going to go to a shir today. Oh, I'm going to do a mitzvah. It doesn't make a difference. Hashem decided everything. So how do you reconcile the two? It's very challenging. That's what we're going to address now. I just want to end with a story today. So the story, it came to my mind as I'm preparing and teaching this. The Rebbe talks about this in Fabrengen, how the Rebbe talks about the Rebbe's Gvir, the Rebbe's philanthropist. Rebbe's Gvir means he's a wealthy guy, but he's the Rebbe's person. So I forgot the name of the chassid. The Rebbe says there was a chassid in Russia that was a very, very wealthy guy and being very successful. He was a big chassid. So I think he was involved in some kind of product or manufacturing some like of the major. I don't know if it was the railroad, like he was doing steel, or there's a bunch of
Some kind of tycoon.
of material that back then was the revolution of that. You know, when the railroad started,
Steam revolution.
so steel, like railroad, was a huge business. If you managed to everything related to that. When the cell phone industry started, we remember everything. If you're in the cell phone industry, whatever you're doing, so there was always a few guys who had the momentum and so he's involved in something very, very important there. The people from all over Russia are coming to him. I think it could be he was doing fur or the jewelry or one of the things. I forget. It was recently in one of the Fabrengens, and he said that someone from the royal family came over to their house to ask for a meeting with him to place a huge order of. Now the Rebbe says he's the Rebbe's Gvir. He's the Rebbe's Gvir, so he's not. So first of all, people knew don't come to him in the morning. He's busy learning Chassidus and davening. Then he needs to eat breakfast. Then he's going to do business if there's a. So he has his daily seder, and one morning someone from the royal family comes and so they all rush him like. I can't bother me. They're waiting. Like it's a big business opportunity. Hurry up, hurry up, and you'll daven later. You'll go to 7:70 at 12 o'clock. Find a minion. So.
Yeah.
This guy is. Oh, hold on. I have to learn. I have to that. Oh, hurry up. Finally, it's already 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. I think the Rebbe says. And it's like describing the morning routine of this guy who was doing his stuff before, and the person is waiting and finally like they're coming new. He said. Lost nicht leben. You don't let me live. Trying to daven, trying to eat. I can't. And then he comes to the meeting and he does the meeting and he closes the deal, etc., etc. And the Rebbe says, "This is the Rebbe's Gvir. The Rebbe's Gvir is someone whose focus is doing what the Rebbe wants. The parnasa comes from the Eibishter, and the deal happens. And when he's called to give tzedakah, he's giving tzedakah much more than what he has. Why? Because it's not his. It's the Rebbe. He's the Rebbe's Gvir. He knows the bracha is that he's not. So what's his focus on? What does he spend his time on? I know a person, and I wish him first of all health and wealth and atzlacha, because I knew him when he was doing it very, 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 very good, and it's not as much like that. Which is he has lots of children, and gives lots of tzedakah, and is a very serious, devoted person, Torah and Tefillah and everything else. And I remember hearing from a family member of his that 60% of his earnings were going straight for tzedakah projects. The guy has over 13 children, and 60% of his earnings go straight for tzedakah, and 30% is for him. So I heard a story from a person who davens in our shul. He said that there was a guy in England, was a big, successful businessman. And he learned about Meiser that it says, someone who overspends shouldn't spend more than then a fifth, which is 20%. So the guy was giving infinite amounts of tzedakah, big loads of tzedakah. So they asked him, like, how do you?
How would you make?
Yeah, no.
How do you justify this?
Yeah. So he said, because I learned, it says, I'm a basbez, someone who, how do you say basbez in
Wastes.
waste? Someone who wastes, shouldn't waste more than 20%. How much can I waste on myself?
So he's giving 80%.
20% I can waste on myself. The rest has to go to
That's the-
tzedakah.
Fine.
Chaim. Perspective.
There's actually a story of the
It's like they say, mishpat to tzedakah b'yakev ata asisa. You know the word of the mishpat to tzedakah. You do a mishpat for yourself, how much you need, and the rest should be for tzedakah.
Pull out your wallet, take
Yeah.
out $1 and give me the rest.
Yes. Chaim livracha.